Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Enkounters. Um, if you're new here, welcome. And if you want to join the Encounters, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to know whenever I post a new video. Okay, so let's get right into it. I figure today's as good as any to talk about the experience of surviving Kingston. Well, it's a series of stories about how I survived Kingston, Jamaica. Now, I mentioned in previous videos that I lived in the country and I went to Kingston for school. And Kingston, for those of you who don't know, is the capital of Jamaica. And a lot of people, outsiders and even people who live in the country, had or still have the mentality that, boy, Kingston is a rough place. You have to be, brave or tough to live there and survive there. So I just want to share some stories and then, maybe conclude with a video of how I feel I survived Kingston. So the first in the series of stories I want to tell is how I nearly got robbed while jogging. So imagine me, as I mentioned before, if you watched the previous videos, if not, go back and watch. Imagine me on my weight loss kick, trying to do the right thing, trying to stay motivated. I had the diet part down packed with the Special K diet, and now I just needed to get more activity into my day. And so at one point I had decided, okay, you know what? I am going to try getting up early in the mornings before classes and going for a jog around the residence where I lived. So for those of you who don't know, UWI has like a huge sporting field, and a lot of famous athletes actually train there. Like all of the greats, track and field stars from out of Jamaica, you name them, they probably train at UWI Mona Field at some point in time. So where I lived on Durham was close to there, like right next door. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out of the residence, jog down that way, and maybe see if I can get onto the track field to jog around the field and burn some calories. So that morning, I remember specifically because hindsight is 2020. Looking back, the first wrong move I made was it was the days of smartphones just coming on the market. And I remember I had a Nokia 3310. For those of you who don't know what it is, Google it. Some people call it fridge. I don't even know what people call it. Fridge, or I don't know what they call it. But good as gold, but it was not like a phone where you could see things in color. You were just seeing things monochrome. So I remember the first phone that could actually see in color that I got after the Nokia 3310. I think it was Nokia 3510, maybe, I don't know. But all I know is that this brand of Nokia, I could see color. And at the time, the phone company, Digicel, they had this promotion where if you buy a phone from them, then you get a free t-shirt. And it never even occurred to me that, okay, everybody knows about this promotion. Everybody's in on it. So therefore, if you are wearing the shirt, you are actually advertising to people that you just bought a phone or you just got a new phone. So I was so glad for my free t-shirt that the morning, that's what I wore when I went jogging. So imagine me feeling motivated with my new smartphone and my free t-shirt from Digicel, going out the gate, I'm going jogging. So I'm there jogging, feeling excited and pumped that I'm doing something good for my health and for my body. And I don't know, I was probably like 5 to just 7 minutes into the jog. Like it wasn't, a significant amount of time into the I think at that time I wasn't even jogging, I was speed walking, trying to warm up and work up to a jog. So just like 5 or 7 minutes into the walk, and I noticed this guy coming up, like in the opposite direction. He was heading in the opposite direction and kind of walking like a distance away from me. He wasn't actually like on the other side of the road, but he was closer to the other side of the road. But he was kind of in the middle, if you get what I mean. And I wasn't really paying that any mind because, it's a huge campus. People are going about their business. It's surrounded by a huge community and people use the campus as a shortcut. So I wasn't really paying any mind. So I am there, speed walking. And I didn't even notice that this guy was coming, like, inching closer and closer. Until he spoke. And the guy was like... And at the time I had my phone in my hand, obviously, no. And the guy was like, Fatty, me I gonna need that phone there. And at first I was like... My heart started racing and I was like, what did he really just say? Like, what did he really, really just say? Like, at all of this I'm telling you, even though I'm repeating it to you slowly, I was processing it quickly. And I'm like, what do I do? First of all, I am not just going to part with my new phone like that. And a lot of times, people say things like, oh, if I'm in a situation and I'm being robbed, I'm just going to give anything that they ask, because my life is worth more. And honestly, my life is worth more. My life was worth more than the phone. But at the time, I don't know, I was just thinking, there's no way, first of all, you are going to take my new smartphone, you just feel like you're entitled to take my phone. Like, that just went through my head really quick. Like, it wasn't even a matter of, because I was like, do I throw it at him and then try to get away? Or do I keep it and, by no means you're getting it? And I remember thinking, what do I do? And at the same time, processing the fact that he had a bag. At that time, scandal bags, or black plastic bags, as we call scandal bags. So in Jamaica, we had these plastic bags that if you go to the shop and you buy something, you would get it for free. Free? I don't know if at the time it was free, but you could get like a black plastic bag to put your groceries in. Nobody would know what you bought. You couldn't see through those bags. So he had one of those bags in his hands, and he was actually reaching into the bag. So I'm like, oh my gosh. He had something in the bag. The way he was reaching in, he was like, Fatty, me I gonna need you to give me this phone, and reaching in the bag at the same time, like he was pulling out some weapon, like whether a gun or whether a knife. I don't know what it was. So I'm like, first of all, I'm not sticking around to find out what it is, because he was going in slowly. And then, I don't know, out of all the things I could have done, I just remembered in the moment that I had watched a documentary earlier, like probably maybe a month before, a couple weeks before, of saying what you should do in the event that you're being attacked or assaulted or robbed. And in the documentary, they said that, if you're being robbed, the first thing you should do is describe your attacker or describe the assailant, right? So instinctively that whole documentary came back to my mind, and all I could do was scream out, help, 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 help. A man in a yellow shirt and a black pants is trying to rob me. A man in a yellow shirt and a black pants is trying to rob me. And I was so loud. And all I know is that when I was shouting it, I was running in the direction I was heading at first. And through the corner of my eye, I noticed that he was running in the direction he was heading to. So we were running in opposite directions. And then I just couldn't stop. Like, even though in the corner of my eye, I could see he was running away from the loud, crazy person screaming, I just couldn't stop. It's just the adrenaline that took over. I was just running and screaming it. And then where we were, It's kind of like a valley. Like where I lived on dorm, it was kind of in a valley, surrounded by mountains and peaks. So it was really echoing. Like imagine I'm already loud, screaming on top of my voice, two, and then three were in a valley that was really picking up the sound. And I was just running the entire time, running the entire time. So when I left my residence, right where I left, it was a security post. And so I knew that there was another security post at the it was like a horseshoe, picture a horseshoe. So at the other end or at the top of the horseshoe, there was another security post. So all in my mind was I'm running all the way up there to get back onto the dorm. I can't go back the way I came because that's the way he was going. So I have to go the other way. And I was just running and screaming, help, 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 security, security, security. I'm wearing a yellow shirt and a black pants is trying to rob me. And I was just running and screaming that by the time I got to the top post, the security was like, you were the one screaming? We heard you were down at the bottom of the other security post. And I tell you, I had never been so relieved. And then when I finally calmed down and I went to my dorm and I was processing, I'm like, first of all, I cannot believe that you hear the stories all the time, but I just could not believe that somebody would just have the audacity, right? It's not like he gave me a phone to put down. It's not like he gave me money to buy a phone. It's not like he gave me a part of the phone. This is a stranger. I don't know you from anywhere. Just look at the free shirt that I was wearing and just decide that, you have something I want and I am going to take it. And, looking back at it, I'm like, this person probably didn't even have a weapon. Like I said, they had their hand dipping in the black scandal bag. I think looking back, it was a bluff. Because if this person had a weapon, they would not have been so terrified. Let me tell you something. If me and the guy were running, like in a track and field race, you'd have probably been a close call. Because I was running fast, like Usain Bolt fast, towards the security post. And he was running like a surfer fast in the opposite direction. Like the two of us were like dashing. So I'm like, if he really had a weapon, would he be running from me or my big mouth? Or would he be like up for the confrontation and try to, maybe pop off something, God forbid, before? So all I'm thinking about is this person probably never had nothing, probably had like a tin mackerel or a corned beef or a bag of flour or a bag of sugar in the scandal bag and just decide, say, I want a phone and this is how I'm going to get it. Like, and then I understand now why a lot of people have these reservations about like city life and Kingston being like a rough and tough place, because I'm telling you, the personalities, the audacity, and looking back at it, I can take bad things, make joke, but like I know a lot of people have had like situations where people were not bluffing, and like I said, it really bothers me that people come by their positions honestly, and then you have other people who just feel like, oh well, I just feel like I see it, I want it, I'm going to take it. Yeah, it bothers me, but it's a reality that people like that are out there, they're around, and it's just for us to be safe, and understand our environment and use all the tools available to you to protect yourself. Like, I don't know what I would have done if I did not watch that documentary. What if I was the type of person who, oh, I'm going to stop to hear what you have to say. What if I was that type of person, like super polite, be like, can you repeat that? And giving him the opportunity to come even closer to me. No, luckily I have the personality where, I'm a skeptic. And especially when it comes on to personality types, like I have to really get a gist of who you are before you can come into my bubble. So from the very first time he said something questionable, I wasn't letting him get any closer to me. My first instinct was I will get as far as possible. I will scream first and ask questions later. And that worked out to my advantage. So, hopefully from my story, you will learn, or if you take nothing else away, is that if you're being attacked, the first thing you should do is describe who is attacking you. As many details as possible while you're running, while you're screaming, if you can run and scream. And just scream it out because you want them to know that you see them, you know who they are, as many details as possible. The height, the color of their hair, what they're wearing, if they have on shoes, if they're barefooted, if they're slim, if they're fat, any detail you can pick up. Shout it out and scream it out for somebody to hear and know and have an idea of who is attacking you. I'm getting so riled up telling that story again. That's my little encounter, and that's all I have for you today. Thanks for listening. And once again, if you find these stories interesting or useful, tell a friend to come, because the Enkounters is talking a bag of things, right? Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so we become part of the notification gang. That's all. Bye-bye.